Hi, this is Johann here. I'm an engineer here at CNC Labs, and if you have a Vortex rotary axis, you've probably seen me a lot in those assembly videos. Today I'm going to do some more testing on some of the router products that we're developing. Andy calls it the sprouter because it's a cross between a router and a spindle. It might be a good time to also peel back the curtains a little bit and let you guys in on how we get some of our results. When we say a router is 2 kilowatts, for example, like how do we make sure that that's actually the truth instead of some number that we pull right out of the air? And it is also something that this slew of testing has been developed over probably the last 6 months. By no means perfect, but I think it gets us to really close to the truth. And we think that that's very important because we have noticed scenarios where you can look at two routers, they look exactly the same on the outside, but when you actually run them, they give you completely different performances. Some of them may be missing a couple hundred watts here and there. That's like close to half a horsepower. Or, we have also tested spindles. So they say 1.5 kilowatts on the tin, but when you test it, it only goes up to maybe 1.1. So it's like, missing a couple hundred watts here and there again. And there's also stability issues that we can find. So, when we cut certain pieces of material and, the speed slows right down and then it maybe just stalls. Even though, it might have the power, but the throttle is really sticky, for example. So, before we sell any of these products, we really would like to know what it's capable of and be able to give you, the customer, as much information as possible for your purchase. A very good analogy would be if you're buying a 500 horsepower car and it says, oh, it can go 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, you want to know that there's actually 500 horses behind the wheel, right? And instead of 250. So that's what we're doing here today. And I'm going to share a little bit more about our setup. And we just hope you enjoy it, regardless of whether you buy our products in the future or not. So enough about the background into the test that we're actually going to run today. Specifically, we're going to test this little Makita clone that one of our suppliers have provided, because in the last round of testing, they're missing a couple hundred watts here and there, and the speed stability isn't that great. Today, this is a new sample, we're going to test it, and then obviously we're not going to sell this directly. There are additional features that we want to put into it, and obviously check its safety and everything before we actually push a product like this out to the market, if it meets our standards. But this is a step in the way, and it's important to get the performance of the motor right before we add features. How do we make sure, if anyone has ever studied mechanical engineering or learned about motors, one of the key factors that we want to consider is what we call the speed torque curve. So basically how much torque and how much power the motor can deliver at various speeds. So maybe 10,000 RPM, how many horsepower it is, 20,000 RPM, how many horsepower it is, because that basically describes the behavior of the motor. One way to do this is to use what we call a dynamometer, and that's the more, professional way of doing so. And we actually have a little tiny DIY dynamometer here that you can see. So you mount the motor on one end and you try to slow it down with a load. The problem here is that this dynamometer only goes up to around 400 watts. It can only load up the motor up to 400 watts. So it isn't actually enough to stress test any of the more powerful motors that we have in mind. So we had to basically do the next best thing, which is to run cutting tests. I have some hard maple in front of me. Obviously we can also use aluminum and other stuff, but there is a very long list of reasons why we chose to use hard maple. Essentially, we're just trying to run slots of varying depths into the material, try to see whether the motor slows down in making those cuts or whether it causes stalls. So for example, this is a successful cut, although it's kind of choppy, it still made it through. So we know that the motor is capable of doing that. But in such a scenario, maybe the motor slowed down a little bit too much and it started stalling. So we know that, hey, that cut and the corresponding power level and the corresponding torque requirements is not satisfied by this particular motor. With enough testing, with enough cuts, we can actually plot out what the motor can do at the various speeds that we're running it at. One way we can do this is just, it can cut 4 millimeters, it can cut 5 millimeters. Acoustically, it's slowing down or stuff like that. but we want to be a little bit more scientific. So we have a few additional pieces of equipment and to actually make our test a little bit more scientific. One of the pieces of equipment here is a little tachometer. So this little blue piece here with a little wire, it allows us to capture real-time running speed of the motor. So for example, if it's entering a piece of material and it's actually like slowing down by a third, well, we'll know the exact RPM that it slows down to instead of just relying on, oh, you know, it sounds like it's struggling, right? We'll know that like it's struggling and how much it's struggling by. Or if it's maintaining speed, then we'll know, oh, it's like maintaining speed within 1 to 2%. So that's a pass on this test. And we also have a Makita router that is kind of funny because you can see that there's no speed controller here. What this helps us to do is to correct for any material inconsistencies. This can actually maintain around 16,000 RPM. So if we make a specific cut that we think is going to take around 1.1 kilowatts and it's slowing down more, we know that the material is harder, so we can correct the results for that. And if it's actually, you know, above 16,000 RPM, then we'll know that the material is probably softer, so we can again correct our results for that. So this is a piece of equipment that we'll always run to basically standardize the results before we start, because, you know, no trees grow entirely the same. This piece of hard maple is a little different from that piece, and, you know, like with this test we can figure that out. And obviously we also have power meters to gauge how much input power is going in, because obviously it helps us check for, you know, oh, is this actually going to be very inefficient and draw like way too much power than what its output is going to give you. Or it can also check things like, for example, what we call power factor. Like, you know, is it going to draw a lot of current and, you know, burn out your circuits and things like that. If you draw less power than what your mechanical output actually is, so it's like, you know, you think you're cutting at 2,000 watts, but your input is only 1,000 watts, then, you know, your math is wrong. So this also helps us catch that. We also use a program that we call Millilyzer. It basically allows us to enter the cutting parameters that we're using. So for example, if we're cutting at 18,000 RPM, if we're cutting at 3,000 millimeters a minute, and we're cutting 6 millimeters deep with a specific cutter, Millilyzer can actually tell us what wattage we're cutting it at. And obviously, like, this will help us also correct for any material inconsistencies. So we run this and then we correct the results coming out of Millilyzer, and then we start to test with the motor that we actually want. So that's kind of the overall setup, and we'll dive into it. All right, so that's a lot of cutting done. And I guess I also have some results for you. So what we did just now was that we ran the router at various speeds. So low speed at around 12,000, medium speed at around 18,000, and max speed at around like 30,000. And then we try to cut as deep as we can without losing speed. And at the end of it, we did some massaging of the math to correct for material hardness and yada, yada, yada. And we have arrived at some graphs. There's still a little bit of performance difference between this router and the Makita router. So especially like towards the very, very low speeds, like below 16, maybe 14,000, there's still a little bit more torque from the Makita router over this little prototype we have. Past a certain speed, so like above, let's say around 22,000, there's actually a little bit more torque on this router than the Makita. The preliminary conclusion that I can draw is it's probably enough given considerations around deflection and machine rigidity and things like that. But obviously, you know, the team has to get together, really think about it a little bit more before we proceed. But these are actually some really good results. That's how we really generate one torque curve for one motor. This is just to give you a little flavor as to how much work went into testing some of these motors. So when you actually receive your routers or spindles, you can have full confidence at its performance.